Pregame.com.
Pregame.tv back discussing Major League Baseball. We got Seattle Mariners at the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know why Marco D'Angelo isn't here because he has the winner on every Pittsburgh game. Not to mention
Duquesne.
He would know where to and he would know where to go to dinner afterwards. But instead, we've got Bryan Leonard here with the winner. What do you think?
That's the second food burn we've got on Marco today.
Nonstop. 3.5
food burn.
Food burn.
What burn?
He'd still write it a good write-up.
Forks. Forks.
Three and four.
I give this game, for the first 5 inning line in this game is 3.5, which is applicable because every the over/under in Mario's reviews is, as we all know, is 3.5 forks. Go over or under. Guess what? The books aren't making any money.
No.
They're getting split action, but every bet's a push.
I went to a Kentucky Derby party the other day. Walk in, sat next to Marco. He turns to me. He goes, "You guys are burning on me on your videos, aren't you?"
Marco,
I go, "Did that
we
make
love
the video?"
you. We love you.
You give somebody four
forks or 2.
You give them 4. I want to see you put the fork in someone. One fork, put it in them.
One time.
Why are we the only things he doesn't like?
One time.
How hard is it to find one restaurant owner you hate in the entire state of Nevada?
I agree.
Go ahead.
And we're off to our next 8-minute video.
Pittsburgh.
We got Seattle, Pittsburgh. We're going to go with the under here. Hernandez and Burnett. Hernandez is quality as you can get. 6 to 7
under
qualities.
6.5. Can we do that?
We can do that with these two.
Okay.
6 to 7 quality starts. Each tremendous 2 earned runs combined in his last 4 starts. A strikeout to walk ratio 35 to 2. Last year in interleague play, strikeout to walk ratio 20 to 0. The National League just does not hit him very well. If you follow the videos we've done before, I'm a big Burnett fan playing at home. 7 starts, he's yet to allow more than 3 earned runs in any game. Struck out 57 batters in 42 innings, which is just amazing. The opposition's only hitting 2-11 against him. And Seattle's a team, if we go back to spring training, they knocked the hell out of the ball. They didn't have to cover out the ball. They brought in some big bashers in the offseason. Everybody said, okay, this is the big year for Seattle. Season starts, they're not hitting
20th in runs per game.
Yep.
It's the marine layer. They can't hit a lick because every high fly ball gets caught up in the marine layer. You've been to Seattle.
I have not been to Seattle.
You've never been to Seattle and Vancouver in the summertime. You got to go there for vacation.
If I want to get rained on, I'll just jump in the shower.
No, in the summertime, no better. You've been to Vancouver,
Yeah,
Seattle,
I haven't been to Seattle. I've been to Vancouver.
I hear Vancouver's gorgeous.
Vancouver's even better. Seattle's like, but the reason I'm bringing this up is that I want to ask you about Seattle. Why is it that Seattle, in every sport, is so good at home and so bad on the road? Is it they're used to this marine layer? What is it?
They are so far away from all the other teams, the travel.
I think it's more negative towards the other teams than a positive towards them. You know what I mean? I think it hurts the other teams more than them being it's not as much being dominant as home as it is other teams lacking when they have to go there. I think that's what it is.
It's a long distance wise, and plus, as I mentioned, I don't know anything about Seattle, and I know it rains a lot.
Weather's a factor.
If you're going into Seattle, and you're especially in baseball, when you're there 3 or 4 days, you get bored in your hotel room. You want to go out and do something. I mean,
a city you could certainly get in trouble, and more trouble in Vancouver, no doubt. You like Brian's play? Is he going to win? You guys disagreed last week.
Yeah, here's the only thing that scares me. Whenever you have 2 stud pitchers, the market overcompensates a lot of times. When you have one, you could get value, but when they're both the team aces, I think sometimes the market is a little bit too far adjusted. The days of getting 7 is the lowest total are long gone. There was a time when you would get so much value here because the line would be 7 no matter who was on the mound. If it was, any pitcher over when I was moving steam and for so many years that I remember, 7 was the lowest a total ever went, no matter who was on the mound. Right. And now they're going to 6.5s. You're even seeing 6s. Right. And now with 2 good pitchers, I think that's the only problem. But when you look at the teams, it should go over. You got Seattle 26th in runs per game. You got Pittsburgh 20th in runs per game. And with Seattle, they can't even, if they get on base, they can't do anything.
So
They're 30th in stolen bases.
Over. You meant under.
No, I like the under, but I think the line value's gone. Because of there being 2 good pitchers.
I understand exactly what you're saying. The problem is it used to be 7 down to 6.5. you're still getting a situation where you've got two, Pittsburgh right now is hitting.
I hear you. Where this should maybe be 5.5.
Yeah, it could very well be 5.5.
One thing I like about this when two aces go is that the managers tend to play way ultra conservative.
Yeah.
They get a man on second, nobody out, bunt him over to third, play for that one run each and every inning.
Because you're not going to score a lot. You're not expecting to score a lot.
And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that you don't put any crooked numbers. You don't get to 7 without a
No one
number.
gives up the long ball, neither of these two guys. That's a good thing. Now, the only way I could bet it is under. I would just have loved to see a 7. But then again, if you saw a 7, everyone and their mother would be on the under.
Wouldn't be there very long.
Exactly.
That's right. It's not 7, but if you do want a 3.5, you can get that on Seattle.
There you go.
You play against Seattle plus 3.5 with Carolina week 1. I like that pick a lot. Brian, go ahead. Baseball, this is a free play for you.
Had to get in a football reference. One thing I really like here, and I touched on it a little bit, 2 big strikeout pitchers. And, when you're betting unders, and you always got to worry about the BABIP or whatever, balls hit and play. Balls don't hit and play with strikeout pitchers. So you get up there, and each pitcher is going to have, I would guess, 10 to 12 strikeouts each team at this point. That's close to half of your outs in a game that aren't even going to have a ball hit in play. So you don't have to worry about those. I always like to play big strikeout pitchers under, team under when they don't hit the ball in play. We've got that situation here. I like the under. We'll play at 6.5. I think there's still some value there.
He's right. And when a pitcher's going up against the other pitcher's ace, they usually want to bring their A game. You know what I mean? Hernandez, who averages 9.5 strikeouts per game, he knows he's going up against Burnett, who averages 12 strikeouts a game. So it's that competition between pitchers that usually brings the best out of them.
And that's exactly why you find guys who win the Cy Young Award and with 12 wins on a season because the team doesn't score when they go up against this team.
Yeah.
So it's always tight.
I like it.
Even like the number 3 starter when he faces the number 1 starter. That's the game he circles.
He's bringing his A game. Exactly.
I can't give up more than 2 runs.
Burnett needed to come out of New York. Small market pitcher.
Yep.
I like it. Sorry for all the cross references. Feel free when we're talking about basketball, go back to baseball, go back to football. It's good for the goose. It's good for the gander.
New England -2.
Talk about golf.
3.
I know as much about golf as I know about.
Talk about World Series of Poker. We're an equal opportunity. If we can bet on it, we can win money on it. I have to say real quickly on the Kentucky Derby, because I like to put these in during the baseball videos. The bet to be made in the Derby when the field was a quagmire. Do we call the field? Irrelevant. When the area where the horses run, total mud. The over/under on that was 202, and it closed like over -180. That was the bet.
I had this exact conversation with Marco because I don't follow horse racing.
Marco's very good.
And I asked him. I said, why don't they put over/unders on these things? Give a horse. Each horse has their own over/under number. That kind of thing. They need to. That's
just the winner, just like a game total.
But that's one of the reasons why horse racing isn't as popular as it used to be.
Well, I'm sure Marco would say that the books, it would be too difficult because depending upon the track conditions, the wise guys would eat you alive.
Yeah, but the whole
head-to-head horses. How many places did you see the matchup?
Yeah.
All I know is Marco had a 20-1 rate of return in last year's Derby, won again this year. So next year, I had a thread pregame about how hard it is to beat horse racing, and Marco is just like, yeah, if you don't know what you're doing. So stay with us, pregame.tv. We will be not breaking down the Preakness. We'll let someone else do that. We'll let Marco handle that one, but along with Ken Thompson. But we'll be breaking down NBA action. We're going to talk about how the Miami Heat are going to beat the living daylights out of the Chicago Bulls. Stay with us.